Greatness often comes from unexpected places. That is a truth people don't always want to accept, because we are conditioned to look at the surface, the packaging, the shine. We judge people by what they wear, where they come from, or what their name sounds like. We overlook the small beginnings, we dismiss the ones who don't look the part, and we underestimate the ones standing quietly in the back of the room. But the truth is this: greatness is not about where you start. It's about what is planted in you from the very beginning. A seed does not look like a tree. A seed looks small, fragile, and insignificant. But inside that seed is everything needed to grow tall, to stand firm, to provide shade, to bear fruit. That is how greatness is born, hidden in the unexpected, waiting to be revealed. Life has a way of teaching us that the extraordinary rarely comes dressed in royal robes. It often walks into the world wearing ordinary clothes, speaking with an accent people don't expect, or growing up on the wrong side of town. But when you are chosen, when you are called, when you are destined, there is no place so small, no family so broken, no environment so limiting, that it can stop greatness from being revealed. You see, the greatest leaders, the most powerful voices, the ones who shift generations, they rarely look like the people others expect. And that is what makes their story powerful, because when you see someone rise from the unexpected, you realize that maybe, just maybe, your own story is not disqualified. Think about it. Many people believe that greatness belongs only to those with privilege, to those with money, to those with connections. But the truth is, some of the strongest, most resilient leaders are born out of struggle, obscurity, and rejection. Because it is in obscurity that character is formed. It is in rejection that resilience is forged. It is in being underestimated that hunger grows. And hunger, my friends, is a dangerous thing when it is mixed with vision. When you've been overlooked, when you've been told you're not good enough, when people have written you off, that creates a fire inside of you. And that fire, if directed by faith and discipline, will burn brighter than any spotlight. Greatness in the unexpected is a reminder that you don't have to look like what society says a leader looks like. You don't need the perfect education, the perfect background, or the perfect resume. What you need is vision, faith, and the courage to keep walking even when no one believes in you. Because sometimes the unexpected are chosen exactly because people won't see them coming. They rise without warning, they step onto the stage of life unannounced, and suddenly the world has no choice but to pay attention. There's a reason why stories of underdogs inspire us so deeply. We love the unexpected champion. We love the story of someone who wasn't supposed to make it, someone who came from nothing, someone who was doubted, someone who was overlooked, and yet they rose anyway. Why? Because deep down, we all know what it feels like to be underestimated. We know what it feels like to be overlooked. And when we see someone break through, someone defy the odds, it reminds us that it is possible for us too. But understand this: greatness coming from unexpected places is not an accident, it is divine design. It is proof that destiny is bigger than human opinion. The world may say you're not qualified, but God says you're chosen. The world may say you don't have the right look, but God says you're appointed. The world may ignore you, but when it's time, the world will have to recognize you. And when greatness comes out of the unexpected, it carries weight, it carries authenticity, it carries power. Because people know it wasn't handed to you. You had to fight for it. You had to endure for it. You had to believe when no one else believed. I want you to think about your own life for a moment. How many times have you been counted out? How many times have you been told you're not enough? How many times have you been made to feel like you don't belong? and yet you're still here. That alone is evidence that there is something inside of you the world has not seen yet. There is a greatness in you that will be revealed in due season if you don't quit. Don't you dare let the opinion of others bury the seed that has been planted inside of you. Seeds are meant to be buried, yes, but only so they can grow. Greatness from unexpected places means you don't have to be perfect to be used. You don't have to be flawless to be impactful. You don't have to come from a perfect family or a perfect past to walk into a powerful future. What you need is authenticity. People are tired of polished lies. They are hungry for real stories, real struggles, real victories. And when you rise from unexpected beginnings, your story carries credibility. People can see themselves in you. They say, if they could make it, maybe I can too. And that is the essence of true greatness. It multiplies itself by awakening greatness in others. Now let me be clear. Being unexpected does not mean being unprepared. You may not be on the world's radar, but you still have to prepare in the shadows. You still have to study. You still have to grow. You still have to build. You still have to discipline yourself. Because when the moment comes, when your name is called, when the opportunity finally appears, you must be ready to step into it. That's how unexpected greatness shocks the world. It looks sudden to others, but it's been years in the making. Quiet preparation, unseen faithfulness, hidden discipline. That is what makes the rise so powerful. There is power in the unexpected because it teaches us humility. If greatness only came from those we expected, pride would consume the world. But when greatness comes from the least likely, when the last becomes first, when the rejected becomes the cornerstone, it humbles us all. It reminds us that no one can control destiny except the one who created it. And that, my friends, is what gives hope to the overlooked, to the underestimated, to the broken. If greatness can rise from them, then it can rise from you. So never despise small beginnings. Never underestimate the quiet ones. Never dismiss the dreamer who doesn't have the right words yet, because in them may be the very greatness the world will one day celebrate. And never count yourself out. Don't look at your life and say, it's too late, it's too messy, it's too ordinary. No. Ordinary is exactly where greatness hides. Unexpected is exactly where destiny shows up. The unexpected is where God shows his power most clearly. Because when you succeed where no one thought you could, everyone knows it wasn't by your strength alone. It was divine orchestration, and that makes your story not just inspiring, but undeniable. Greatness often comes from unexpected places. And maybe, just maybe, that unexpected place is you. Pain and struggle shape true leaders. That is a reality most people want to run from, but it's a truth you cannot escape. Every scar has a story. Every tear has a lesson. Every setback has a seed of strength planted inside of it. We want greatness without the grind. We want the crown without the cross. We want the promise without the process. But life does not work that way. If you look closely at the people who have made the deepest impact in this world, you will not just see success, you will see wounds, you will see hardships, you will see valleys they had to walk through, because pain has a way of molding you into something that comfort never could. Struggle is not punishment, it is preparation. You don't get muscle without resistance. You don't get endurance without pressure. You don't build strength without weight. In the same way, leadership is not born in the spotlight, it is forged in the fire. The strongest voices are not those who have lived easy lives, but those who have cried at night and still got up in the morning. The ones who were betrayed but still chose to forgive, the ones who fell down but kept getting up. That's what makes a leader. It is not the applause of men, It is the scars you carry with grace. Let me tell you something. Struggle has a strange way of teaching you things success never will. When you go through pain, you learn patience. When you go through rejection, you learn resilience. When you go through loss, you learn gratitude. When you go through darkness, you learn how to appreciate the light. And these lessons cannot be read in a book or taught in a classroom. They must be lived. That's why the people who truly lead, the people who truly inspire, are not those who simply speak well, but those who have lived well. They've lived through storms and they carry the wisdom of survival. Pain strips away pride, struggle strips away illusions. Hardship forces you to confront who you really are. When everything is taken from you, when nothing is left but your faith, then and only then do you discover what you're truly made of. That's why the struggle is necessary. It doesn't come to destroy you. It comes to reveal you. It peels back the layers of ego and shows you the strength you didn't know you had. But hear this. Pain is a teacher only if you let it be. Some people go through struggle and become bitter. Others go through struggle and become better. The difference is perspective. The pain that you allow to harden your heart will keep you chained. But the pain you surrender, the pain you choose to learn from, that pain will unlock your destiny. Because struggle doesn't just shape leaders. It separates them. It shows who has the courage to rise when it would be easier to quit. Think of the challenges you've faced in your own life. Maybe you lost someone you loved. Maybe you were betrayed by someone you trusted. Maybe you tried and failed so many times that quitting looked like the only option. But the fact that you are still breathing, the fact that you are still here, means there is strength in you that the struggle could not kill. That means your pain has not been wasted. It has been shaping you. Every wound is a workshop. Every heartbreak is a classroom. Every storm is a training ground. And if you endure, you will come out not weaker, but stronger. True leaders are not shaped in luxury. They are shaped in fire. Because people don't follow perfection. They follow authenticity. They don't trust the one who has never been broken. They trust the one who has been broken and healed, the one who has been through the valley and still walks with faith. That's why struggle matters. It gives you credibility. You can't tell someone to keep going if you've never had to keep going yourself. You can't tell someone they'll survive heartbreak if you've never survived heartbreak yourself. Your pain becomes your testimony, and your testimony becomes your authority. Pain is not the end, it is the process. Diamonds are made under pressure. Gold is refined in fire. Leaders are shaped in the furnace of struggle. And when they come out with a strength that cannot be bought, a wisdom that cannot be faked, a compassion that cannot be manufactured. Because pain makes you compassionate, it makes you see people differently. It makes you lead differently. When you've been hungry, you feed others with more empathy. When you've been broken, you listen to others with more care. When you've been rejected, you welcome others with more love. Pain softens the heart even as it strengthens the spirit. Don't despise your struggle. Don't curse your pain. As hard as it is, it may be the very thing shaping you into the leader you were born to be. The struggle is not evidence that you are forgotten. It is evidence that you are being prepared. Greatness carries weight, and only those who have carried the weight of struggle can handle the weight of responsibility. When you look back one day, you will see that the seasons you thought would break you were the very seasons that built you. You will see that the tears watered the seeds of your destiny. You will see that the nights you cried yourself to sleep gave birth to the mornings you woke up stronger. Struggle doesn't come to end your story. It comes to give your story power. So the next time you find yourself in pain, don't just ask, why me? Ask, what is this shaping in me? Because struggle shapes vision, struggle shapes humility, struggle shapes faith. And when you emerge from the fire, when you rise from the ashes, you will carry a power that comfort could never have given you. Pain and struggle shape true leaders, and if you are going through it right now, maybe it's not because you're weak. Maybe it's because you're being prepared to lead. But with faith, those walls turn into doors. Doors that open when they're supposed to. Doors that lead to places you never imagined. Doors that remind you that what seems impossible to man is always possible with God. Faith is not blind hope. Faith is a conviction, a confidence, a deep assurance that even though you cannot see the outcome, you believe in the one who holds the outcome. It is choosing to walk when the road looks dark. It is daring to move when everyone else is standing still. It is believing in a promise when your reality doesn't match it. There are two kinds of people in this world, those who live by sight and those who live by faith. Those who live by sight are confined to what they see. They look at their bank account, and if it's empty, they say, "I can't." They look at their past mistakes, and if it's messy, they say, "I'm disqualified." They look at the mountain in front of them and say, "It's too big." But those who live by faith see differently. They look at an empty bank account and say, "This is an opportunity for provision to show up." They look at their past and say, "My scars are proof that grace is real." They look at the mountain and say, "This mountain will move." A faith does not deny reality. It declares that reality is not the final authority. The truth is, you will never do anything great in this life without faith, because greatness requires risk. It requires stepping into the unknown. It requires standing on a word when you don't yet see the evidence. Faith is the bridge that allows you to walk from where you are to where you are meant to be, and bridges are only necessary when there is a gap. That gap may be fear, it may be doubt, it may be lack, it may be impossibility. But faith is what carries you across. The beauty of faith is that it does not require you to have all the answers. You don't have to know how it will work out, you just have to know who is in control. Faith says, even if I can't see it, I trust it. Even if I don't understand it, I believe it. Even if I feel weak, I know strength will come. Faith doesn't always make sense, but it always makes a way. Because when you walk by faith, you tap into a power greater than your own. Some of you are standing at the edge of a dream, staring at the gap between where you are and where you want to be. And the gap looks impossible, the bridge looks invisible. But if you take one step, if you dare to move, you'll find that faith creates the very path as you walk. It's like walking on water. It doesn't make sense until you do it. The moment you trust, the impossible starts to shift. The moment you believe, doors begin to open. The moment you step, mountains begin to tremble. But here's the key, faith is not passive. It is not sitting around waiting for miracles to fall into your lap. Faith is active. It is preparing for what you prayed for. It is working as if the answer is already on the way. It is knocking on doors, applying for opportunities, sowing seeds, even when you don't yet see the harvest. Faith without action is fantasy. Real faith shows up in your steps, not just your words, and faith is tested. Don't think you can build faith without storms. Faith grows when the wind is against you. Faith strengthens when the answers are delayed. Faith matures when the situation looks dead, but you still believe in resurrection. Every great leader, every great dreamer, every great pioneer, at some point they had to walk by faith. They had to look foolish before they looked wise. They had to trust before they saw results. They had to believe before others could see. Faith is the bridge that doesn't just carry you. It transforms you while you walk on it. Because as you step out, you begin to discover who you really are. You realize that fear has no hold on you. You realize that doubt was only an illusion. You realize that what you thought was impossible was only waiting for you to believe. Faith doesn't just change your circumstances, it changes you, and listen carefully, faith is contagious. When you walk by faith, you give others permission to do the same. People around you see your courage, and suddenly their own courage awakens. They see your trust, and their own trust deepens. They see your leap, and they dare to leap too. That's why faith is not just personal, it's generational. Your faith can open doors for your children. Your faith can shift the trajectory of your family. Your faith can inspire a community. The impossible becomes possible not because of who we are, but because of who we trust. Faith is the currency of heaven. It's the language God responds to. It's not about your ability, it's about your belief. And when you believe, even if your faith is as small as a mustard seed, you can move mountains. Not because the seed is powerful, but because the one who planted it is. So the next time you're staring at something that feels impossible, don't shrink back. Don't let fear dictate your steps. Remember that faith is the bridge, and bridges are not meant to be stared at. They are meant to be walked on. Take the step, cross the gap. Trust that the other side is waiting for you. Faith is the bridge between the impossible and the possible. And the only question is, will you dare to walk across it? Known, their face to be remembered, their achievements to be celebrated. But fame is fragile, fame fades. Today they cheer, tomorrow they forget. Today they clap, tomorrow they criticize. If you live for fame, you will spend your life hungry for validation that will never truly satisfy you. But if you live to serve, if you live to lift others, if you live to pour into people, your legacy will outlive you. Because true greatness is not measured by how high you stand, but by how many you helped stand with you. Look around at the world today. So many people are chasing platforms but not purpose. They are chasing status but not service. And the truth is, a platform without purpose is empty. Status without service is meaningless. You can have money, you can have power, you can have recognition. But if you have not poured into anyone, if you have not lifted anyone, if you have not served anyone, then what you leave behind will not last. Legacy is not about what you keep. It's about what you give. Serving others doesn't always mean standing on a stage. Sometimes it means listening when someone needs to be heard. Sometimes it means giving when you have little. Sometimes it means encouraging someone when you yourself feel discouraged. Service is not glamorous, but it is powerful. Service builds people. Service shapes lives. Service multiplies long after you are gone. The greatest leaders the world has ever known were not remembered because of their titles, but because of their service. They touched lives, they gave hope, they poured into others. That is what people remember. And here's the truth: when you serve, you leave a piece of yourself in others. You plant seeds in their lives that continue to grow even when you are not around. Fame fades when the lights go out, but seeds keep growing in the dark. The smile you gave, the wisdom you shared, the kindness you extended, the sacrifice you made, those things never die. They echo through generations, that's legacy. But why do so many people miss this? Because serving is not easy. Serving requires humility. It requires putting others before yourself. It requires doing things that don't always get noticed. And in a world that rewards image over substance, service often looks unimportant. But let me tell you something. The things that look unimportant to the world are often the very things that matter most in eternity. The world may not clap for you, but heaven takes notice. People may forget your name, but they will never forget how you made them feel. True leadership is not about saying, "Look at me." It's about saying, "I see you." It's about lifting the broken, guiding the lost, and empowering the overlooked. It's about leaving people better than you found them. And when you live that way, you won't just build a career, you'll build a legacy. Legacy is not built in a single moment. It's built day by day, choice by choice, act by act. It's built in the consistency of serving when nobody's watching. It's built in the sacrifices that no one ever applauds. It's built in the quiet moments when you choose to love instead of hate, to forgive instead of retaliate, to give instead of hoard. Legacy is not what you do once, it's what you do consistently. And service is the thread that weaves legacy together. Ask yourself, when people remember you, what will they say? Will they say you were successful? Or will they say you were significant? Success is about you. Significance is about others. Success dies with you. Significance lives beyond you. When you live a life of service, people will tell your story long after you are gone, not because of your fame, but because of your impact. Serving others also keeps you grounded. Fame can intoxicate you, but service humbles you. Fame can isolate you, but service connects you. Fame can make you self-centered, but service makes you people-centered. And the more you serve, the more you realize that the true joy in life does not come from being celebrated, but from being useful. There is a deep fulfillment that comes only when you know you have made someone else's journey lighter. You don't have to be rich to serve. You don't have to be powerful to serve. You don't have to be famous to serve. All you need is willingness, a willing heart, a willing hand, a willing spirit. And when you serve with sincerity, doors open, opportunities come, and blessings flow. Because there is a universal law, what you give always comes back to you. Serve and you will be served. Lift and you will be lifted. Pour out and you will be poured into. The greatest tragedy in life is not death. It's living a life that never touched anyone else. Don't let that be your story. Don't let your life be about chasing likes, chasing applause, chasing achievements that vanish with time. Make it about service, make it about love, make it about impact, because when you serve, you build something eternal. Think about the people who influenced you the most. Chances are, it wasn't the richest, it wasn't the most famous, it wasn't the most powerful. It was the one who cared, the one who listened, the one who believed in you when no one else did. That's service. And that's legacy. So stop chasing fame and start chasing purpose. Stop worrying about who knows your name and start focusing on whose life you can change. Fame will fade, but legacy will last. Fame may get you remembered for a season, but service will make you remembered for generations. Legacy is built by serving others, not by seeking fame, and the question you have to answer is, when your time on this earth is done, what will you leave behind? Will you leave behind applause that fades into silence, or will you leave behind lives that are forever changed because you chose to serve?